101. This is a brand new series where our guests come to place their fears and their pet hates into the Room 101 vault. They hope that they'll be locked away there forever, but they have to convince me first. Joining me tonight is an Australian TV legend, a man who has conquered all forms of media. He loves his footy, he loves Australia. It is our own Ray Martin. Please make him welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here he comes. Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, they love you.
Can we swap seats?
Do you want to swap seats? You're better on that side? Do you feel more comfortable?
It's just very funny about swapping seats. I did Midday once with Sylvester Stallone. He came out like that, and he said, can we swap seats? And I said, yeah, why? And he said, because that's my best side. And I said, I didn't know you had a best side. I was just joking.
Well, the other one's been pummeled to hell, hasn't it? Probably had...
Has indeed.
Yeah. Shall we get stuck in?
Let's do it.
So we're going to talk about your fears, your anxieties, the things that you really
Should I lie down on the couch? Or?
There's no couch, Ray. The 70s are coming back to haunt you again. What does this represent for you?
Well, I guess parking inspectors.
Can we see this in its hellish light?
Evil.
Oh.
How true is that? Oh. How true? No, it's...
Your gander's up, the blood's boiling, you're angry.
Absolutely.
Let's get stuck into them, Ray.
Betcha.
I just want to stop for a second, though. You're one of Australia's finest journalists. You do know we're selling uranium to India.
I do know.
But you want to focus on parking inspectors.
Mate, they're not even like police or prison wardens. I mean, police occasionally, if you get picked up for speeding, the cop will look at your record and say, well, this is a warning. I think even in prisons, I understand that there's some milk of human kindness from the wardens. Parking inspectors...
Probably the wrong choice of words there, Ray.
Can I just say compassion? Can I say compassion?
Compassion is a beautiful word.
A compassion bypass with our friends here.
Yeah, the evil parking inspectors. Now, you know that that they deliver quiet justice on our streets, though. I mean, a parking inspector seldom raises his or her voice. They raise the fines, but not their voices.
That's right.
And they're doing their job. It's a job someone has to do.
But have you ever seen them change their mind? Ever been about to do it when you come along and you jump in your car and they say, oh, OK, well, this time, never. Never. It's always, I'm sorry, once I've started writing. That's fine. But there are certainly councils around the country that actually have a quota, and if you're a parking inspector, you must meet that quota. And there's a bonus for some who actually, if you tick off enough people, you get a bonus.
That money goes back into the community. You know where that money goes, Ray?
Where does it go?
I have no idea. Do you ever confront these parking inspectors?
I do. You don't get anywhere, of course. You know that they're not going to change their mind, but they simply sort of basically say, up yours.
Wow.
I
am so impressed that I've seen you do that sign.
Well, there you go.
My mother's going to be upset. Can we determine some key personality traits of our parking inspectors? What do you think they're like?
They've really got to... they've got to be loners. They must live alone. They obviously don't have families. They are... they're going to be rough the next time they get...
You're going to be in strife, Ray. I feel you're going to be in strife.
They don't speak, so they're probably mute.
Oh! I think all the good work you've done for many years has just been dissolved away.
I know. There's a total lack of balance, isn't there? There you go.
OK, we're going to step it up a little bit now. You feel parking inspectors are evil personified?
Yes.
Yes, OK. Where would you place them on this chart of malevolence?
Oh, OK, right.
OK, just bear with me for a second. This is the chart of malevolence. I don't know if you can see it. We have completely evil, extremely evil, very evil, rather evil, slightly evil. I've put Satan down here as slightly evil and Ebola up the top as completely evil. Gina Reinhardt, of course, Andrew Bolt. Would you agree with any... Move them around if you want. They're pretty good.
That's pretty close.
OK. So here we go. Here's a parking inspector. This one from the 1950s, I think. Look at her. She's very happy with her life. Where would you place her on this chart?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Let's have no halfway measures, Alice.
Okay, you're not alone in your battle
No.
against park inspectors. Other people have been battling park inspectors for years. Can we look at some of the brave crusaders on the forefront of this campaign? That's Rodney. He's been fighting the battle for 50 years, the wonderful meter maids, of course, in Queensland. What do you think of that as a way of dealing with the problem?
Much better.
Well, what about this one? This is the last thought we had that might be helpful for park inspectors. If they give you a fine, what about sweetening a little of it with an offer on the back of the ticket, like a shopper docket style? 2 for... Yes, we're happy? So, park inspectors, the decision. Do we send them to room 101 for all eternity?
What do you reckon?
Yes? Go and do it.
Push it forward. Much better.
Park inspectors. Done. How do you
Simple
feel?
as that.
Ooh,
I feel liberated.
it's good, isn't it? Okay, here we go.
Oh, dear.
Oh, man.
We're going to divide them now, aren't we?
Oh, man, do you want to hold up the end of it, Ray?
Oh, no, not that end.
Hold
hold
up
this
the-
end.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, perfect.
So there we have the Australian flag. Do we love it? You love it, Ray? You love it?
It was Seinfeld who said that looking at this, it's like looking at England at night.
Ah, that's a good line.
a nice
That's why it
line,
makes the big
isn't
money. Would this make you any happier, Ray?
But we see that anyway. That's what we see. If our athletes, when they win a gold medal
Yeah.
and they wrap themselves in the Australian flag, that's all we see.
So your issue is not with this lovely part of the flag.
No,
That
love
probably
all that.
needs a bit of a redesign, I reckon.
Love all that.
Yeah? You love that?
Yep.
You don't like this thing.
I don't
do
like
you?
this thing, not in the corner. I just don't think that's us. It isn't a symbol of who we are.
And
You're a
to
big
explain
man.
it to you people, ladies and gentlemen at home, it is in fact the Union Jack. We know it's the Union Jack. It's the Scottish flag, humping the Irish flag, being dry-rooted by the Old English flag. It's an orgy of border penetration.
I've never heard that before.
And you may never again, Ray. Why do you think there's such resistance to change in this country?
We are very conservative. Australians are very conservative. It took us a long time to change the national anthem. The Canadians just did it. They got rid of their flag, this wonderful flag with the maple leaf that everybody knows. The New Zealanders are about to do it. We're going to be left as the only last remainder of the Commonwealth to actually have the English flag.
So are you leaf-oriented in regards to the new design? Are you... You've mentioned
A good gum tree. I saw one the other day at the football. It actually had the Aboriginal colours around the outside. And even better, a rabbit in the middle. So it was the bunnies. It was the bunnies. And I thought that would be a perfect national flag. I'm just joking, but there you go.
You're just getting a lot of love for it. Well, I love the Aboriginal flag. I think it's a beautiful flag. I think it's well designed. But I've seen a lot of really shocking designs for the new Australian flag, for the proposals for it. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it needs to make it an emblem of our country. What can you suggest, Ray?
It needs Aboriginal colours somewhere there. We have to acknowledge the 60,000 years of history we have in this country.
Can we just look at some other flags? We're going to educate you a little bit by looking at countries that have changed their flag. This is a very simple design, this flag.
That's pretty... wouldn't offend anybody, would it?
That's the Libyan flag from 1977 to the Arab Spring of 2011. That flag, by the way, was designed by Colonel Gaddafi himself.
Is that... Oh, that figures. That figures.
So it has been suggested maybe he just handed over a green folder and they were too scared to ask him if he forgot to put the flag design in. Yeah. And should we have a look at what it looks like now? This is the new Libyan flag. Is that an improvement?
Yeah, that's nice.
You don't mind that? The green is whatever Gaddafi was smoking when he designed the original flag. And in the centre, of course, you have the very hungry Pac-Man eating a star. Aussies love nostalgia. Is the Union Jack the new black?
I hope not. I hope not. I think we can do better than that, can't we?
Yeah.
We
Well,
can do
I
better than
believe we've had a bit of a crack at it ourselves. Would you like to see what we've come up with?
that.
Okay. Don't go crazy for this, people. This is, look at this. It's got that. It's very simple. This was done by a child. See, we have the black at the bottom, the red in the centre, signifying the great desert area of our country. Stars, right? But the best thing about it, if you dig it like that, it's a football. So we've got everything in there. We've got the footy. Oh, Australia, football. What do you think, Ray? Is it a goer?
Oh, I think it's perfect.
Perfect. Got it from Ray, ladies and gentlemen. I agree with Ray. I don't know how you feel. What do you feel, people? A new flag without the Union Jack, yes? Okay. Down to room 101 it goes.
Goodbye.
Good riddance, yeah? Don't touch that dial. Now we have a new pet hate. And this one's really a pet hate, isn't it? Can you tell us about this, Ray?
It's about dogs that aren't really dogs. Any dog, in inverted commas, that fits in a handbag, or is roughly the size of a rat, or can be eaten by another dog, probably isn't.
Are you a cat person, Ray?
No, I'm not. I love dogs. Dogs are my favourite animals, even more than human beings. My daughter has a pup, a 6-month-old border collie that I love to death. I walk and I love, and I've got all these dog friends at the park I'd never had before. All these dogs, love it. But I do see the occasional one in a handbag. If the dog is actually wearing a kilt and Ugg boots, if it's dressed to that, it's probably not a dog.
Where are you going, Ray? Let's have a look then at some dogs. What about this little fella?
No, that's a dog.
That's a dog.
That's a dog.
That's a dog. Ray, what about this four-legged friend? What about this little fella, Ray?
He could be eaten in one by the previous one, but nevertheless.
Are we getting the love from the audience here, aren't we? There's a lot of love. Thank you, Diego. Thank you, Cara. Bye. You know, do you think the smaller they get, the cuter they get?
No.
No?
No.
It looked to me like evolution took a bit of a day off with that dog, don't you think? And I think it's a bit like what happens if you turn a Muppet inside out.
You said that.
OK, what about their personality traits, the dog's personality traits?
Yeah,
Do you find them a bit...
Tiny dogs are yappy, or else they have a small man syndrome.
But I feel I'd be happy if someone whipped off my balls and put me in a handbag as well.
They do dress... They dress up small dogs, don't they? And they obviously turn them into people. That's a problem. A dog with a hat on is a little sus.
Yeah.
It's not... little sus.
What do you think of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably not a dog.
What's more amazing is they were both caesarean section from that woman.
She's recovered so well, hasn't she?
Well, different fathers. Also, people try to anthropomorphise animals a lot. As you mentioned, they put them in cute little frocks. So let's have a look at one we found on the internet. Oh, doesn't that, look at that, the reaction. Doesn't that melt your heart, Ray?
No, that's not a dog. That's what I'm talking about. That is not a dog.
That's the one, that really gets you...
That's not a dog.
Yeah, that gets you feisty, doesn't it?
The suggestion is that if you have to kneel down to pat it, it's not a dog.
OK. I've got to be honest with you, I've got no love for small dogs. I think we've genetically modified them.
Engineered?
We've engineered them into these little monstrosities, these yappy horrors that rich and wealthy people seem to favour and imprison in tiny little handbags and carry around with them like substitute children. So I am quite happy to sentence small dogs and perhaps their owners to an eternity in room 101. You happy? We doing it?
Fantastic.
They're gone. It's nasty down
That's
there.
a long way down, isn't it?
We're doing well. Here we go.
I think we're about to take a cup of cropper fairly soon.
Oh, it doesn't work like that.
Is that right?
No, it doesn't work like that. These little monstrosities. Where are they? What do they represent for you, right? These little.
Life is too short for opera. Opera. If you gave me the choice, Paul, between going to a pub for a trivia night or across the road was a free night at the opera, I'd go to the pub.
What has opera done to anyone or for anyone, Ray? What has it ever done?
No, I know. I feel uneducated and uncultured and uncouth. I feel like a Philistine totally because I know I have friends, former friends, former friends.
Not after tonight, Ray.
No, former friends.
Kiss that goodbye.
They used to like dogs as well, who actually like opera, and they're much more cultured than I am. But it's just something that I've tried. I have tried. Kerry Packer once said that his idea of the ultimate purgatory was to spend a night at the Sydney Opera House with Joan Sutherland. And I sort of agree with Kerry.
So they don't play their own music. They don't. Basically, you're paying top dollar to see a cover band from the 1800s.
That's right. That's right. And there's the other old line about opera is much better than it sounds.
Yeah. Well, it's a visual medium too. You get the singing, you get the acting, which is impeccable. You get the big people with the loud voices. None of that is attractive to you?
No. Very large people with really loud voices, shouting at each other, acting poorly. No, it's not. I don't find it very attractive. I've tried it. I have tried it.
Have you seen many of them?
I've seen two. Back in the 70s, I went and with my wife and we saw Carmen. We unfortunately had lunch beforehand, and quite a long lunch, and we all went to sleep. And I thought, well, fair enough. Mark Twain once said about opera, he said, I've been to quite a few operas in the last 14 years when I couldn't avoid it. And I think mine's much the same.
You're not the only person, by the way, that isn't enjoying opera at the moment. Attendance was down 20% in 2013, so it's clear most Australians couldn't give a Figaro about the opera. Is there any way you could make it more appealing?
Switch off the lights?
There's nothing that can save the opera.
No.
I think Molière, the great French playwright, once said, "Of all the noises known to man, opera is shit." The way I'm feeling tonight, Ray, I feel opera, especially grand opera, is going to room 101. Go. Thank you. Take it off. You're advocating execution for people.
Capital punishment, at
Why
least.
don't you run for politics in this country, Ray? Let's move on to your next thing, Ray. Let's have a look
gas,
at it.
Aren't we?
Hey?
We're cooking with gas.
Oh, I love it. This has been joyous. We're going to romp in. Okay.
Okay.
What is this thing?
This thing here, Stairway to Heaven.
Isn't that a marvellous piece of work? Yeah. Yeah, thank you, that one person clapping.
It's the escalators. One of my pet peeves. You see these people at the front?
Mm.
People who decide at the bottom of the escalator or the top of the escalator have a conversation. And you've got to say, excuse me, every time to get past. Now, I have to say, without being sexist for one moment, Paul, it's usually...
I think you're about to be. I think you've prefaced it because you're about to be
It's
slightly
usually ladies at the top are deciding whether they're going to go and have a coffee. And it's usually blokes down here who stand across the way or in moving footways at the airport. They always have eggs and you can't pass them. It's usually blokes.
Let me just say, as a reconstructed male, it's sometimes good to see the ladies at the top. But your gripe, let me get it right, people who stop for conversations at the top and bottom of escalators.
Yes. How many times, though, you're on the escalator in a shop and you're trying off here and all you really want to do is go and buy a pair of undies. And there's a conversation. Invariably, the people getting off here will stop and decide whether they're going to meet later, whether they're going to have a coffee, what they're going to do, all here. And it's all sort of clustered, like bags coming off a conveyor belt.
You're actually frightening me a bit now, Ray, as well, with the intensity. So,
I know.
So why do they stop? Are they surprised that the floor has stopped moving? Do they get... They go out there and say, my God, why is the floor not moving? It's someone, the floor is broken. Help me, giddy up tiles.
I don't know. It's always there, or it's always there.
It is.
Society. It's just there, so you get a cluster of 3 or 4 people there.
How do you deal with the menace? Do you politely wait for the conversation to subside? Do you hit them with a passive-aggressive, excuse me? Or do you put the shoulder in?
All of the above.
Really? You ever thought of maybe taking some of those gold logies out there and just cracking them on the back of a scone? Would that be good?
I do. I don't leave home without those gold logies.
Apparently 75% of people on the London Underground choose to stand safely to one side. I do have a bit of a training film that they distributed in London.
Accidents can happen. Teach them the 3 safeguards. Stand still and don't walk down. Stand steady and hold hands. Stand clear, away from the sides and well within the yellow lines. Don't
gotta be
let
accurate.
this-
Oh, don't let it happen to your
Stand
child,
still.
ladies and gentlemen.
Stand steady. Stand clear.
That sells the message with fear, doesn't it? Thank you, Britain. Much of the world has a walk on the left system, whereas our walking is done on the right. Is that because, well, God damn it, that's the side Ned Kelly would walk on?
Probably.
Yeah?
I hadn't thought of that, probably.
Do you think the escalator is a wonder of mechanical engineering?
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah. You don't
And
have
but-
any issue with that. It's the people you have issue with.
Absolutely, that's right. If you just had them without people, it'd be perfect.
In North America, the humble moving staircase is responsible, I thought this was quite amazing, for over 210 billion rides every year. It moves more people than aeroplanes, which I don't think is surprising, and with a better safety record. Certainly, no escalators have mysteriously disappeared over the Pacific. The shortest escalator ride in the world is in Japan at the Kawasaki Mall department store in Japan. It's 83 centimetres high. That's only 6 steps, Ray. 6 steps. Do you think you would be more annoyed or less annoyed if people were clustered at the top and bottom?
No, I think more annoyed.
More annoyed.
Yeah.
Furious.
Those buggers, why don't they walk up the stairs?
Well, there are no stairs. There's an escalator, Ray. That's the...
Is it time to go home yet?
I don't. We're very close. So, you're an award-winning journalist. You've seen the wonders and horrors of the world. Can you see a solution to this particular problem?
Well, I think the only thing is execution for those who stand here, that's all. Well, let's not beat around the bush, eh?
I just want to get this right. You're advocating execution for people?
Capital punishment at
Why
least.
don't you run for politics in this country, Ray? What about if we just speed the escalators up so they're real death rides? Yeah?
Got to hang on?
Yeah, got to hang on. That's the Aussie way, isn't it? Make it thrilling, you know? If you get stuck, mincemeat. Yes?
Perfect.
OK, well, I agree with you, Ray. People that stop at the top and bottom of the escalator to have conversations are abominations, Ray. I think we send those people into room 101 for the duration of all eternity. Farewell.
Fantastic.
Gone. Done. Pleasure.
Fantastic. Wow.
Nice and easy.
What a
Ray.
team.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please thank the wonderful Ray Martin?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And that's all from us here at Room 101.
People totally perving on themselves. Who does that? Only a dickhead.